Stay with me. I'm Lynmarie. I've helped dreamers interpret their dreams for a couple of decades around the world. And today, once again, we have Antonio Rios with us from the streets of Aurora, Colorado, and the series on that. And we're going to get to a very interesting dream, I think, here. So let's go ahead and have you go ahead with that. If you want to learn more about Antonio, he's a armor bearer of ours, very prophetic, has had other dreams about America and national events and so on before. So this is well documented that he's a real prophetic voice. And I think you'll find this one interesting. So if you want to go ahead and share the dream.
I had this dream somewhere between the spring and summer of 2023. I almost always write all my dreams down. This is one I forgot to. So I've forgotten the fine details, but I remember most of the generalities. It starts off with me just running with a bunch of people in a long line. We're going through the wilderness. We're all in a panic. We're trying to get to some escape boats. I don't know what we were running from. I don't know what we were running to, but that was the first scene. Then the scene changes, and I'm going through this hallway. As it opens up, I can see all these governmental officials running in the same panic, trying to get to some escape boats. I see Jill Biden walking quickly, and I look and I don't see Joe Biden. And I'm wondering, why isn't he with her? I could hear the whispering, she left him behind. And I felt so bad for him because I thought it's horrible to be a senior citizen and abandoned. But this is his spouse that abandoned him. And I couldn't understand, why would she do that? Be so afraid for her life. The next scene, the last scene, I'm on one of these escape boats. They're not like a modern boat. These are boats that were crudely made out of, it looked like giant logs that were fastened together. But what was strange about these logs is they were made out of chicken nuggets. The ships start to break apart. People are falling and drowning, but I'm climbing up what could be some kind of cabinet shelf. I get on top of it. I break the ceiling with my knuckles, climb up, turn around, and I reach down to rescue some people up.
Wow. I had to laugh when he said the ship made out of chicken nuggets. Well, let's break down that. Let's look at the dream elements. Most of these dreams are parabolic because Jesus spoke in parables. In Mark 4, you'll see that it says that Jesus never spoke to the crowds without using a parable. So that's pretty much the way our dream life is most of the time. In the Bible, again, you have both kinds, more literal and more symbolic, but same way in real life, but it's mostly symbolic. So dream elements. Let's start with the running escape thing. So the main element of this is that you're with a group that's running sort of for their lives. They're fleeing, they're afraid, fearing, that kind of emotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Antonio is with them because in this instance, and maybe I won't break it down exactly, but he is sort of having a tour. In other words, he has to be there in order to see the revelation. So God is showing him what the revelation is, what's going on. And in order to do that, he has to be there. So he doesn't really do much until the end. And we'll discuss very briefly why he does something at the end. But when you have these dreams that are extrinsic and they're about something besides you, you're not usually participating or doing much. You're seeing. It's like you're watching the TV. Sometimes you're in it. Sometimes you're watching it. This one, you're in it. So you're experiencing kind of what the other people are experiencing up close and personal. So that's the running escape one. So second one I want to talk about element is the wilderness. So what comes to you on what that would mean, that you started out in a wilderness?
I always think about the Old Testament, how it says the Hebrews were passing through a wilderness and that it was a harsh, difficult time that tested them.
Okay. I think you all get that, a dry season. Very good. And then we have the hallway is the next setting. And the hallway indicates a transition. So the walls are very narrow. People can pass here, but it indicates a transition from one thing to the next. So what makes me think, since you said there were government officials in this, is that this transition is the transition from one presidential administration to another. So that hallway fits that election scenario as well. The fourth one I want to talk about is Jill Biden, and he had a lot to say about her. Uh, I just want to say that because these dreams are parabolic, Jill is not Jill. And most of the time, when you dream about your spouse, most of the time it's talking about a partner of yours. You know, my husband and I were preaching in a Kojic church some years ago, and a woman from the back at the end. The most fun part is the question and answer at the end. And she said, she raised her hand in front of the whole congregation and said, I keep dreaming that my husband is cheating on me. I couldn't believe she said that in front of the whole group. But I said, I'm so glad you shared that because it's not your husband, something that you're partnered with. So your job, something else that you're involved with that you're partnering with is so, hey guys, he's good. He's a good one. He's not cheating on you. So the same thing applies to the Jill Biden. She's representing a partner of Joe Biden. And the most obvious thing is that it's Kamala Harris. She's partnered with him because she's his vice president and partnered with him even in the election endeavor now that she's running. So clearly that's her. And then what you described was that she was doing what again?
She was running for her life as well, but she abandoned him.
Okay. So she's running away from death, and death indicates a separation or an end. So death could be the death of her campaign, for instance. There's a lot of different kinds of death. But she leaves Joe Biden in the dust, leaves him behind, which actually is pictures very well what she has done, I think.
A death of a partnership?
She's just left him behind, yeah. So part of the strategy for her campaign is clearly to kind of leave him at a distance, separate herself from the administration. So that doesn't really tell us anything new, but it just confirms, what are we talking about here? What subject matter is God addressing? What's he going to bring more revelation on? And then the revelation mostly has to do with the running and the ships. So let's get to the boats. You said that they were unsophisticated. They weren't, I forget what words you used about the boats.
They look like they were made out of these large crude logs fastened or assembled together.
Okay. So what comes to me, what I wrote down was like thrown together, just last minute, whatever you have that you can use to throw them together. So this indicates something unexpected. And something, of course, that you said, that they're a place that they think they could escape to safety in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 6, the chicken nuggets. So the chicks, if you dream about a clucking chicken walking around, that may be a woman. And we've seen that many times. He's had dreams about chicks. But chicken, like you eat, the kind that's already cooked, chicken sandwich or chicken, that has to do with fear or being afraid. So that kind of fits here because they were running and afraid, trying to escape to safety. And the fact that they're nuggets are kind of like, like bullet points or whatever. They're little pieces of something. So what these people think, these are government officials?
Included them as well.
Okay, them and some...
General public.
Okay. So they're running, they think they're escaping to safety, but instead it's something that's sort of makeshift, last minute, and it's made of chicken. So in other words, whatever they're running to is built out of fear, okay? And of course, fear is not of God. And also the nuggets part just indicates a lot of pieces of something. So there's a lot to this. And I'm going to let you guys perceive what you think that is. Lots of pieces, not just one big piece, but a lot of different pieces. And then that gets us right to the end, where I want to discuss what you were doing at the end again and talk about that.
Sure. In the end, I was climbing up. It might have looked like a closet cabinet piece of furniture that you'd see in an office. I got up on top of it, and above me, it looked like an office ceiling. So I broke through the ceiling, punching it with my knuckles several times to make a big enough hole to climb up into it. Then I turned around and reached down to rescue some people so they wouldn't drown.
Okay. So now he's moving from more of a I'm touring this, I'm seeing this, I'm there so I can see everything, into actually doing something. And this can happen a lot with these kinds of extrinsic dreams where we're dreaming really about another situation besides our own. But now you're participating. So now it is your own situation. And it's really a response. It's like, what are you going to do in real life when this is actually fulfilled? And it indicates your heart of compassion, which I can verify. Um, a heart that doesn't want to, won't hate, will only love. That's just the way Antonio is built. He's a very godly man. So it indicates that when this happens, he will be praying. He will be praying for people to be saved, rescued in whatever form, God would want with the different people. Every situation is different. But that's how you'll be praying, is for the benefit of people. Okay. So that, I think you guys can take those dream elements and kind of put it all together with the situation. I do think that this is a dream that confirms that Trump will win the election. There are other dreams that confirm that, even within Aurora, Colorado here, and many other places. But I think this confirms this because of the transition and the government and the just the various elements within it. This can't happen if Kamala wins. This wouldn't happen. I don't think that would pull together and make sense. But you guys figure that out. What you think? You figure what you think. Could it be that scenario and not the one I just mentioned? So with that, do you have something to say to close this up?
I think that final scene could apply to Christians in general, that we are trying to get higher in the sense of reach towards God for our own safety first. And then afterwards, we can turn around and rescue others that are figuratively drowning in all their problems and all their crises and panicking. But we got to first be able to get up closer to God so we can be effectively used to rescue others.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that and that you'll ponder it. And with that, I wish that you would be blessed and live beyond your wildest dreams.